is 9/24. Easter, believe it or not, just a few short weeks away, and just like any other chocolate-filled holiday, we need to keep our pets safe. We have Dr. Karen Burks joining us here this morning from the Maryland SPCA with details on some of those Easter hazards. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
And you have Miranda here with you.
Correct.
Miranda needs a home.
She does need a home. She's available for adoption at our Maryland SPCA Adoption Center. They open at noon today. She's a 4-year-old German Shepherd mix. She is from one of our sister shelters in Barber County, West Virginia. So she's a West Virginia girl.
And she needs a good home. She's a good girl.
She's a sweetheart.
Well, I know if you are thinking of bringing Miranda home for Easter, we need to make sure we keep some things out of her sight, like chocolate, of course.
Correct.
We talk about chocolate.
Chocolate is always the big one that we talk about. It is toxic to cats and dogs. The caffeine and methylxanthine are toxic in that. So the darker the chocolate, the more toxic. The smaller the animal, the more toxic. But it can be toxic to any animal.
What about the wrappers too? My dog will sometimes eat through that foil wrapper.
Yes, so those aren't toxic per se, but they are a potential foreign body risk. Other things that are huge toxins in Easter lilies. Anything in the lily family is deadly toxic to cats. So I don't recommend.
Not dogs though, right?
It can be, but it's not. It's a big deal in cats. So I don't recommend having lilies of any kind if you have cats in your household. So.
And is it just if they consume them, if they eat the lilies, if they're even around them, can it be dangerous?
If they sniff the pollen and it gets on their nose and they lick their nose, it can be toxic enough to be fatal.
What is it about it? It just is?
It's a particularly toxic compound. The peace lilies and the calla lilies, which are the false lily family, are not as toxic, but they still are considered toxic. So
hyacinths, things like that are fine.
You kind of have to. I have to check on hyacinths. I'm not particularly sure about that one, but
the lilies.
It's the lilies. It's definitely the lilies. And then you worry about the grass and Easter baskets and things like that can be foreign bodies. String foreign bodies are particularly damaging, and then they just get into stuff they're not supposed to.
I know so many of you have questions as well. Stay around. We're going to have the doctor come back and answer some of those for you. And Miranda, too. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Well, coming up, we're going to take another live look out of D.C. right here, where there will be a Senate Judiciary Committee oversight hearing of the Parkland shooting focused on legislative proposals to improve school safety. Our team coverage continues.
And thousands of kids across the country are walking out in just about a half